Agency forecast a supply shortfall of some 50,000 new homes in central London by 2016. This next segment is all about Hong Kongers purchasing homes in central London. Demand is on the rise, and it has pushed up the prices of existing and new properties. Asians made up more than 50% of the buyers from November 2010 to April of 2011. Of this, 24% apparently were Hong Kongers. We're joined now by Tom Eshelby, Director of Residential Properties at Land Securities. And we're trying to figure out why Hong Kongers are so hungry for housing in central London. Tom, good morning.
Morning to you, Brian.
So why is it that this kind of real estate is so appealing to Hong Kong buyers?
Well, I think there's a variety of reasons for that, really. London offers a really excellent opportunity for investment for Southeast Asians generally. We've seen consistent growth in London's residential prices over the last few decades, and there's every reason to believe that's going to continue in the coming years.
Why is there every reason to expect that when you see the economy struggling as it is?
Because I think that London has come to be seen as a very safe haven for investment. I think that real estate in particular is viewed by the international buyers as a great place to be parking their wealth. And of course London holds attractions over and above most other cities insofar as it's a genuinely global centre.
And are you finding continuing appeal here in Hong Kong? You're obviously on a trip now to attract investors. Are you finding that appeal is consistent?
Well, yes, we are. We're actually over here to meet with owners of our most recently completed project, which is Wellington House in central London. And these are buyers who invested over here around 2 years ago. And we want to celebrate with them what has proven to be a really successful investment. And it looks likely that there will be continued demand for our forthcoming developments.
And would you say that London offers a kind of appeal in particular because of the woes being seen in Europe?
Yes, I certainly would. And almost to the point that the more the woes of Europe play out, so the sort of relatively benign circumstances of London in terms of its economics and in terms of its taxation seems to attract more and more investment.
What's the typical kind of level that Hong Kong buyers are aiming at? Is it $1 million US? Is it $2 million US? And what are the sort of comparisons with the prices here?
Well, look, one of the key attractions might be parents buying who either have children at the universities in London or certainly harbour ambition for their children to attend those universities. And so we tend to sell a lot of the slightly smaller apartments to those sorts of buyers, and their lucky children are able to live in 1 or 2 bedroom apartments. We're thinking maybe around about £1 million as an average investment.
That's still a lot of money. I mean, that's 1.6 million US dollars.
Yes, but I believe that Hong Kong investors are fairly used to high real estate prices. And certainly at Land Securities, our core area is a neighbourhood called Victoria in central London. And whilst that's certainly a prime central location, it's nowhere near as expensive as many of the more renowned hotspots in central London.
You've got quantitative easing packages from the Fed, even in China, from the Bank of Japan, the ECB, and the Bank of England. Is a weaker pound a factor?
Certainly over the last 4 or 5 years, the currency fluctuations that we've seen have played into the hands of some of the canny investors from over in Southeast Asia. And whilst they've also seen significant rises in the capital values of their real estate, of course they've benefited also from the foreign exchange play.
All right, Tom, thanks for coming on the program.
My pleasure.
Tom Eshelby, Director of Residential Properties at Land Securities. Well, finally,